Okay, so before starting this lecture, I would like all of you to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications of all the new lectures. All right. Okay, so this is again an acid-base titration, right? Let's just read the question first. So they're saying that in this question, you will determine the percentage purity of a sample of contaminated sodium carbonate. Fb1 is a solution of contaminated sodium carbonate. You will first dilute Fb1 and then titrate the diluted solution using hydrochloric acid. Alright, so this is basically an acid-base titration between HCl, hydrochloric acid, and sodium carbonate, right? And Fb1 is a solution of contaminated sodium carbonate. Basically, we have to determine the percentage purity of a sample of contaminated sodium carbonate. So the sodium carbonate they have given us, this is contaminated, right? And we have to determine the percentage purity, that how pure is our sample, is how pure is sodium carbonate. So Fb1 is a solution of contaminated sodium carbonate. Now first what we have to do, you will first dilute Fb1 sodium carbonate and then titrate the diluted solution using hydrochloric acid. So first we have to dilute Fb1, all right, and then we will titrate the diluted solution using hydrochloric acid. And this is the chemical reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium carbonate. 2 moles of hydrochloric acid reacts with 1 mole of sodium carbonate. And as you all know this thing, that when an acid reacts with a metal carbonate, we get salt, water, and carbon dioxide gas. Okay, and the next instructions are that Fb1 was prepared by dissolving 125 grams of contaminated sodium carbonate. Alright, so this is the mass of impure sodium carbonate. Okay, this is the mass of this 125 gram. This is mass of impure sodium carbonate, or you can say contaminated sodium carbonate. So Fb1 was prepared by dissolving 125 grams of contaminated sodium carbonate in distilled water and making the solution up to 1 dm cube. So the volume we have of contaminated sodium carbonate is 1 dm cube. Alright, so you have dissolved 125 grams of sodium carbonate in 1 dm cube of solution. Fb2 is the other chemical. Fb2 is 0.1 mole per dm cube hydrochloric acid. So Fb2 is hydrochloric acid, and they have given us the concentration of hydrochloric acid, which is 0.1 mole per dm cube. And the indicator which we are using in this question is methyl orange indicator. And you all know this thing, that methyl orange, it gives a red color in acid and a yellow color in base. Okay. Next, first, as they have already told us this thing in question, that first we have to dilute the Fb1. So in the method, it is starting with dilution. So fill the burette with Fb1. You will fill the burette with Fb1. Fb1 is sodium carbonate, contaminated sodium carbonate. Run between 13 and 13.5 cm cube of Fb1 into the 250 cm cube volumetric flask, because we are making the diluted solution. So to make diluted solution, you have to take volumetric flask and record the volume in the space below. So first you will fill the burette with Fb1, and then you will place a volumetric flask at the bottom of burette and take around 13 to 13.50 cm cube of Fb1, right? So I have taken 13.40 centimeter cube. Now fill the volumetric flask to the line with distilled water. Just to make it diluted solution, you will fill the rest of the volumetric flask with water. Alright, so if we have this volumetric flask, again let's say this is our volumetric flask. I'm very bad with the diagrams. So let's just say this is our volumetric flask, right? And you have taken 13.40. Let's say this is 13.40 centimeter cube FB1, right? This is FB1, and this is the marking of volumetric flask. So you would fill the rest of the volumetric flask with water. Let's say this is water. Rest of the volumetric flask will be filled with water, and then you will stopper the flask and stir it, right? And you will get your diluted solution, and label this flask FB3, right? So this, you have now converted FB1 into FB3 by making it a diluted solution. So shake it to ensure thorough mixing, and now this is FB3. So now this is, you have taken FB1 and have diluted it, and now this is FB3. All right. Okay, now let's start our titration. Rinse the burette thoroughly because you have taken FB1 in the burette. Now rinse it thoroughly with distilled water and then with a little of solution FB2. So this is very important. Just note this point, that whenever you're washing burette, the way you have to wash burette is that first wash it with distilled water, and then with a little of solution you have to fill in the burette. So if you are filling burette with the acid, first wash it with distilled water, right? And then add a small amount of acid, and shake the burette 2 or 3 times, right? So this is how we wash burette, right? So fill the burette with FB2. First you will wash it thoroughly with distilled water and then with a little of solution of FB2, and then fill the burette with FB2 up to the 0 mark. Use the pipette to transfer 25 cm cube of FB3, the solution which we have made in volumetric flask. So use the pipette to transfer 25 cm cube of FB3 into the conical flask, right? So the burette is now filled with FB2, which is acid, and in conical flask you will take 25 cm cube of FB3, the diluted solution which you have made in the starting. Add 5 to 10 drops of methyl orange indicator. So as you have added it in sodium carbonate, which is a base, so you would get a yellow colored solution. Perform a rough titration and record your burette readings in the space below. So you will start running acid from the burette into the conical flask until you get a color change endpoint, right? And the color change would be yellow to orange or slightly red. And I got the rough titration which was 22.50, right? So my initial volume was 0.00, final volume 22.50. So the rough titer is 22.50. Okay, so you get your rough titration. Do as many accurate titrations as you think necessary to obtain consistent results. Make certain any recorded results show the precision of your practical work. And record in a suitable form below all of your burette readings and the volume of FB2 added in each accurate titration. So we have tabulated all the values here. Initial volume, this is initial volume of FB2, the final volume, and the FB2 used. So this is the result of the first titration that I performed, and this is the result of the second titration. And I got the same volume of FB2 used in both the titration, that was 21.00 and 21.00. So if you get the same results, or you get the results which are within 0.05 cm cube or within 0.1 cm cube, then you don't have to repeat the titration third time, right? So like you just need two titrations which have a difference of around 0.05 or 0.1, or they are either same. So I got the same results in both titrations, so I haven't performed any third titration, right? And now let's just discuss the marking points. First of all, like we have 8 marks here in this question. The first mark is for the volume of FB1 that you would take, right? So you have to mention here. So you will get first mark here. So you will get 1 mark here. And then second mark is for burette readings. All the burette readings, rough titrations and the actual titrations which you have performed. So all the burette readings, if you have mentioned all the burette readings, you will get the second mark. So the first mark you would get, second mark you would get, and then third mark is for the headings with unit, for accurate titrations and for the rough titrations, right? So as we have mentioned, the headings with the units in rough titration columns as well and in actual titration, so we will get the third mark here as well. And the fourth mark is for the readings to be nearest to 0.05 centimeter cube. Just remember this thing, that burette readings will always be written up to 2 decimal point, up nearest up to 0.05 cm cube, right? So you would get the fourth mark for the burette readings nearest up to 0.05 centimeter cube. And the fifth mark is for 2 accurate titers within 0.1 cm cube. So my both titers are same, so we get this fifth mark as well, right? So these are the marking points. So last 3 points are for the accuracy of the results, right? Your answers will be matched with the supervisor's answer, and then you will get these 3 marks. Okay, so this is all the procedural part. Now let's move on to the calculation part. All right. Next, from your accurate titrations result, obtain a suitable value to be used in your calculations. Show clearly how you obtain this value. So you have to take an average value, and because my both titrations are same, 21.00, 21.00, and remember this thing, that when you are taking the average, you have to count all those values that are within 0.2 centimeter cube. All right. Just remember this thing, that in average count all those values which are within 0.2, which are within 0.2 centimeter cube. All right. So as my both titrations are same, so I would take these two results, right? You have to take your best titrations, and the average titer would be 21 cm cube. So 21.0 plus 21.00 plus 21.00 divided by 2, so I get 21.00. This is the volume of FB2 required for 25 cm cube of FB3. Next, calculation parts. Show your working and appropriate significant figures in the final answers to each step of your calculation. Calculate the number of moles of hydrochloric acid present in the volume of FB2. Right, we have already calculated the volume of FB2. So they are asking about the number of moles of hydrochloric acid present in this volume. That how many moles of hydrochloric acid are present in this volume, calculated in B. So if you move to the first part of this question, they have given us the concentration of acid FB2, which is 0.1 mole per dm cube. And if we have concentration and volume, then moles can easily be calculated. So this would be C is equals to concentration is equals to number of moles upon volume. Concentration is 0.1, number of moles we have to find out, volume is 21 centimeter cube. We will convert it into dm cube by dividing it with 1000, and if we multiply this concentration with volume, the answer which we would get is 0.00211. all right, so this is moles of HCl in 21 cm cube of FB2. Next part, calculate the number of moles of sodium carbonate. First you have calculated the number of moles of hydrochloric acid. Now the number of moles of sodium carbonate present in 25 cm cube of FB3. Because you have titrated acid with FB3 with 25 cm cube of FB3. So now they're asking for the moles of sodium carbonate. And just remember this thing, that if you have moles of one substance and you have chemical equation between the two, and you need to find out the moles of other substance, you just use the molar ratio. So the molar ratio between hydrochloric acid and sodium carbonate is 2:1. So 2 moles of hydrochloric acid will react with 1 mole of sodium carbonate, right? 2 moles of hydrochloric acid will react with 1 mole of sodium carbonate. So we can use this molar ratio to calculate the moles of sodium carbonate. So we know this thing that moles of hydrochloric acid and moles of sodium carbonate ratio is 2 moles of hydrochloric acid will give 1 mole of sodium carbonate. So that means whatever the moles of hydrochloric acid is, moles of sodium carbonate would be half of that. So if we have 0.00211 moles of hydrochloric acid, then what would be the moles of sodium carbonate? That would be half of 0.00211, and that is 0.001055. This is moles of sodium carbonate. In the next part, calculate the concentration in moles per dm cube of sodium carbonate. So concentration, we know the formula C is equals to N upon V. Concentration we have to find out. Number of moles we have just calculated. This is 0.001055. And in what volume these moles were present? We have calculated these much moles are present in 25 cm cube of Fb3, right? There's the moles which we have just calculated, 0.001055. These moles are present in 25 cm cube. So that means the volume which we have to take here is 25 divided by 1000, right? So from this calculation you would get your concentration, and that is 0.0422. All right, just you have to divide moles with the volume, right? And we had calculated the moles in the last part, and you just need to know that how, in what volume these moles are present. So we knew this thing that in these moles are present in 25 cm cube of Fb3. So we just simply do the calculations and we get the answer. The concentration of sodium carbonate in Fb3 is 0.0422. Next part is calculate the concentration in moles per dm cube of sodium carbonate in Fb1. That in the third part of this question, in this part you have calculated the concentration of sodium carbonate in Fb3, and now they are asking the concentration of sodium carbonate in Fb1. And just now you have to realize yourself that what is Fb3 and what is Fb1. So Fb3 is the diluted solution which you have made from Fb1. So that means Fb3 is diluted solution and Fb1 is the concentrated solution. So you had already calculated the concentration of diluted solution, and now they're asking for the concentration of actual solution, right? And the volume of actual solution, what volume of actual solution you have taken? You have taken the volume of actual solution was 13.40. So you had the concentration of diluted solution. Now you want to know the concentration of actual solution. So now if we want to know the concentration of this Fb1 from the concentration of Fb3, what we just have to do, we just simply use this ratio, which is M1V1 is equals to M2V2. Now M1 is the initial concentration, V1 is the initial volume. So let's suppose the initial concentration, or M1 is the concentration of diluted solution. You can say it in that way as well, that M1 is the concentration of diluted solution. So the concentration of diluted solution was 0.0422, which we have just calculated in the last part, 0.0422. And the volume of diluted solution, what volume of diluted solution we have made? We have made 250 cm cube, right? So the volume of diluted solution is 250 cm cube. 0.0422 multiplied by the volume of diluted solution is equals to the concentration of the actual solution, Fb1. So this we need to know. So X multiply by the volume of Fb1. So what volume of Fb1 you have taken in the first part? We have taken 13.40 cm cube, right? So the volume of Fb1 was 13.40 cm cube, right? So this would be 0.787. Right, so this is the concentration of sodium carbonate in FB1. This was the concentration of diluted solution FB3, and this is the concentration of actual solution FB1. This is 0.787. Now the last part, calculate the percentage purity. Now we have to calculate the percentage purity by mass of the sodium carbonate in the contaminated sodium sample used to prepare solution of FB1. Now we have to calculate the percentage purity of sodium carbonate. So the concentration of sodium carbonate in FB1 is 0.787 moles per dm cube. That means we have 0.787 moles in 1 dm cube of solution, right? And if we convert this moles into grams, if we want to convert how many grams, or if we want to know how many grams of sodium carbonate are present in 1 dm cube, so we can easily convert moles into grams by multiplying moles with the molar mass. The molar mass of sodium carbonate is 106, so 0.787 multiplied by 106 multiply by 106, and that would be 83.45. So we have 83.45 grams of pure sodium carbonate. So to make this solution, we need only 83.45 grams of pure sodium carbonate. But they have told us in the start that 125 grams of sodium carbonate, of contaminated sodium carbonate, was used to make this solution. So in actual, if we had a pure sodium carbonate, only 83.45 grams were required. But what mass of sodium carbonate they have used in this question? 125 grams. So that means this is mass of impure sodium carbonate, and now we have to calculate the percentage purity. So the percentage purity can easily be calculated. Percentage purity is equals to mass of pure substance divided by impure substance, mass of impure substance multiply by 100. So the mass of pure substance is 83.45 divided by impure 125 multiply by 100. So this is 66.76%. So this is the percentage purity by mass of sodium carbonate.